Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. Have you been paying attention to what's been happening in the crypto market over roughly the last 24 hours? Look at this. Bitcoin surged earlier above $116,000, but it's not performing as well as many altcoins out there, as I'm going to highlight in this video. In fact, XRP, case in point, it's now $3.16, and there are select altcoins that are popping off. Certain key levels that were hit that are just, if they don't fill you with a ridiculous level of confidence and optimism and excitement, I don't know what's wrong with you, okay? We are so obviously, almost certainly, at the moment right before this market just rips to the upside. And it won't go up perfectly in a straight line, so don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that we're not going to have some down days in the future. Like, we will. But trending upward for a final parabolic push as alt season ensues. Well, do you want to see why so many chart analysts that I follow are excited exactly for that? And do you understand that XRP moves in tandem with the rest of the market? I know that. You guys are some smart chaps out there. And so, look, I'm going to share with you a lot of perspective from a ton of chart analysts, specifically on XRP, but I just want you to understand the broader context of things too, so I want to spend a little bit of time on that. It's probably mostly XRP content in this video, but everything coming together exactly at the moment where historically it makes sense, and it's exactly what you would want and hope for. But before going further, I do want to be clear. I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice. And you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say are right. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. As I record this video, it is 4:38 a.m. Central Time, so it's now Saturday, September 13th, 2025. Like I said, XRP at $3.16. Bitcoin now at 115,923 bucks. So you can see over the last 24 hours, if you're looking at the screen here, XRP has been trending up. It's been nice to see. Here's the 24-hour chart for Bitcoin. So it did hit almost $117,000, but that was like 3 p.m. Central Time on yesterday on what the hell day is it? Yeah, so it was Friday. Yeah, sorry, brain got tangled up for a second. But you can see ever since then, it's just kind of moving sideways and down, basically. So definitely, altcoins outperforming, including XRP. And take a look at this. This is a post from chart analyst Bobby A., one of the many analysts I follow who accurately called XRP breaking out this market cycle. And so in the evening, yesterday, he said, understand this. A fearful market as risk assets threaten expansion is ultra bullish. Just because your bags aren't pumping yet does not mean this isn't a roaring bull market. And folks, this is one of the situations where I think if you just wait, you're going to see that everything freaking runs. Now, I do not believe that means every single cryptocurrency is going to hit a new all-time high. If it's like anything like last cycle, it'll be a somewhat smaller percentage. Like last cycle, I think it was about 20% of cryptocurrencies did breach their previous all-time high from the previous cycle. But still, even if most coins don't, my God, the multiplier effect from here, the market, it's absolutely still going to move in tandem here. So just because whatever you're holding hasn't moved yet, don't be feeling down, y'all. In fact, given that there are tens of thousands of cryptocurrencies, you should expect that whatever is running at any given moment is not going to be something that you hold. And this really messes with people, because when you get into this mindset where like everything except for what I hold is running, well, then you're going to feel like you did something wrong, and then you're going to probably go chase some green candles, and that's how people get wrecked. But the truth is, for those who are patient, that liquidity is eventually going to come to you too, because the whole market freaking moves in tandem. So, and we do see that every single cycle. But you should absolutely expect, anytime you see on social media something's running, just assume that there's a small probability that you hold it. Because how many coins do you hold? For most of you, how many is it? 5, 10, 15, 20? If you're crazy like me, 42. I think I hold 42 or 43 now. Which is not even, you don't even need to hold that many coins. It's just I've been here so long and I just keep, let's just say I've branched out over the years. But you don't even need that many. But still, that's way less than 1% of coins that run. So even for me, anytime I look at a coin that's running, even though I hold probably more coins than most people, I would guess anyway, most of the time when something's running, it's not going to be great for me. Not when the crazy fun parabolic stuff is happening. Because there are too many coins out there. But that's okay. And so XRP is going to get its day, but so is everybody else. Just be prepared for that. Here's a post from Bitcoin Vector, and this account is run by the The guys over at Swissblock, on-chain analytics firm, so it's consistently fantastic here. And here they wrote, when price momentum and the structure shift align to the upside, Bitcoin's bullish moves tend to generate breakouts and sustain them. Right now, Bitcoin is narrowing with support at $108,500 and resistance at $16,200. The bullish move has been powerful, but only a strong break above resistance truly changes the picture. And that was yesterday morning, Friday morning. Bitcoin did run. It's currently below the resistance level that was cited there. But do you see how close we are? And just understanding that the entire market moves in tandem, how incredibly bullish that is. And you know what else is fantastic? Bitcoin dominance taking an absolute dive here. As I record this video, Bitcoin dominance is down to 57.34%. Can I get a woot woot? The answer is yes, because it's my channel, damn it, I get what I want. But look at that. This is exactly what you should want and expect. As Bitcoin dominance falls, altcoin dominance rises, including XRP ultimately. And that's what you should want and expect at this part of the cycle. In fact, I think it was Credible Crypto the other day. I could be mistaken, but I think that I saw a post from him saying that he thinks Bitcoin dominance by the time this cycle's done could fall below 35%. Now, if that happens, do you know what that means for your altcoins? Whew. But look at this. Bitcoin dominance has been climbing literally for years. It bottomed at some point in 2022. So about 3 years ago. A little over that, I guess. And here it is, dramatically falling right now. And it's not done. It's going to just continue to look like it's going to form a cliff to the downside, folks. And you'll love to see it. I mean, if you're into altcoins, as I sure am, because that's where the real opportunity is for life-changing wealth investing in crypto in 2025. So if you're like that, yeah, this is absolutely fantastic. Now take a look at this. This is so cool to see. This is the total 3 chart, which is the top 125 coins by market cap, excluding Bitcoin and excluding Ethereum. So XRP is in there along with those other coins that I just cited. So it's altcoins. That's what's on your screen right here. And TechDev shared this post with his 547,000 followers on X. He simply said, most seem to have no idea what's coming. Macro altcoin expansion has only just begun. Now, that post was on Thursday evening. And I'm telling you, the best chart analysts out there are paying very close attention to this because they know what this means. He's waiting for this thing to break out more. And so let me show you a few more posts on this and see where we've gotten to, because it is pretty damn good. Here's a post yesterday evening, early evening, 4:37 p.m. Central Time from Charting Guy, who, by the way, is another analyst I follow who accurately called XRP breaking out this cycle. And he said here, Total 3 flirting with all-time high again. Over this, and things get crazy. Still very confused how people can be bearish right now, LOL. Sidelined September continues. And so he's been very optimistic that it's going to move to the upside. So there's another analyst watching, in this case, Total 3. But wait, there's more. Here's Crypto Michael, yet another analyst who accurately called XRP breaking out this market cycle. Just by the way, I'll mention that. Also Total 3 on your screen right here. It's the same chart. And he says, this was yesterday morning, he says, alt season starts when this 4-year resistance line breaks. It is on the verge of breaking. And what he's highlighting here, of course, is the previous high. And he says, most are sidelined, waiting for a September crash. This is the perfect storm for altcoins to break out and go parabolic, leaving sideliners in the dust. And folks, I agree with the sentiment. I don't pretend to know exactly when it's going to happen, but it is going to happen. And since I never know for sure when it's going to happen, I just make sure I have exposure to the market. I don't get cute with things. I don't time the market. I just buy stuff, and then I hold for years and years and years on end, understanding that the asset class is just going to keep getting bigger and not expecting to have wild life-changing wealth from every coin that I buy, but focusing on large caps because those are the coins that the world has agreed make the most sense at any given point in time. And yes, it changes as the years pass, but focusing on those that the world is all in unison effectively agreeing on, yeah, this one's pretty good. That turns out that's a good idea. It's the same reason that buying an ETF that tracks the S&P 500 is a good idea. It gives you broad exposure to the market. So having broad exposure to what is agreed to be the most reputable coins, yes, that actually does make sense. It's just about having broad exposure. That's it. You don't have to be a wizard and an expert. Like if you buy an ETF that tracks the S&P 500, did you research all of the 500 companies in the S&P 500? No, you did not. You don't have enough time to do that. Nobody can. You're there. You're buying that ETF because the world has decided these are the companies that make sense. And so you get broad exposure by buying that ETF. And so you don't have investment vehicles in 2025 that are quite sufficient, but you can make your own little ETF effectively. And you can just hold it. I mean, it's not quite the same thing, but conceptually it is getting you broad exposure. If you just do broad exposure to the crypto asset class and then you just wait. And so he's right here. There are going to be people that are going to get sidelined, and I'm not going to be one of them because I buy stuff and then I do nothing. Hodl life, son. That's exactly right. So again, that was total 3. And take a look at this. And this is why I shared all of those perspectives with you. This is from the blockchain backer. Friday evening, 7:02 p.m. Central. Look what he wrote here. Again, it's the blockchain backer. He said, highest daily close for total 2 and total 3 in history. So total 3 is the chart that all the rest of them, just the few analysts that I highlighted, were talking about. Total 2 is kind of similar. It's the top 125 coins by market cap. That one only excludes Bitcoin. So it's showing you what's happening with altcoins. Highest in history just happened. And I've been talking about this over the last couple weeks, how close this has been. We just got it. So I can't promise you that this is the moment where for like it just blast to the upside. But it's certainly plausible that this could be. There are all sorts of analysts that say that this absolutely can accelerate into price discovery. Tons of analysts are acknowledging that. Actual alt season. So I'm not going to make a prediction on whether today's the day and this is it and it's starting. No, I don't do that. I just firmly believe that history rhymes with itself. That's very obvious. And the same types of things are likely to happen over and over and over again until something fundamentally changes. But there hasn't been a fundamental shift, has it? No. Here's a post from Chart Analyst Dom. He's talking about Total 2. And he says, Total 2, we have a breakout and have hit all-time high. He posted this at 6:56 p.m. on Friday. He says, $1.66 trillion needs to stay support, and this can accelerate into price discovery. And that is what you want. And XRP is included in that chart on your screen right now. Absolutely. Here's another post from Dom.XRP. It says, XRP order flow update. Interesting behavior we have seen over the last 3 days with Binance Spot being a strong net buyer here, surprisingly a bit negative. The thin books I pointed out above worked to our favor, and now price has reached its first notable passive resistance. And by the way, I'll note that this was yesterday afternoon, 3:05 p.m. And so the price was definitely lower than it is now. But he says, all eyes are on $3.08 to $3.12. Flip this level, and I think $3.30 is next. Okay, well, I like hearing that. At least at the time I'm recording this, yeah, we're at $3.16. So at the moment, anyway, safely above that. So if he's correct, you could see a bigger burst. Maybe the price is a lot higher by the time you're watching this. Again, I never make price predictions. I'm never going to. That's not my shtick. I just admit I don't know. You don't need to know. You do not need to know to get life-changing wealth in crypto. You just need, again, broad exposure, hold for however many years it takes, and then sell when you're enticed to sell. Bam, there you go. This is why I don't have anything to sell you. I have no course to sell you. It's just basic stuff like that. If I really had to condense it down, that's pretty much it. Yes, there are additional things that are worth knowing. There's all sorts of nuances on various topics pertaining to crypto. But in a nutshell, yeah, that's pretty much it. You get broad exposure, and then you just wait, and then you win. How about that? That's how I'm winning in crypto. It is wild what my crypto is worth compared to what I paid. It's just wild. I mean, I mentioned the other day, I've got, in a little less than 8 years, like everything I put in, the amount of, like, the return on investment in less than 8 years would have taken me, I think, something like 45 years or something stupid like that to get. And mind you, it's not like I put all the money in almost 8 years ago. I put a lot, like, I dollar cost average into all sorts of positions over the years. So it's not like there was one chunk I had to wait almost 8 years and then I got 45 years worth of profit. No, it's even more impressive than that. And if you factor in that we haven't even had the euphoric part of this blow off top, it'll be even more impressive. What if by the time this peaks, I'll have gotten, like, in 8 years, what if I end up with like 80 to 100 years worth of return on investment because I was in crypto instead of just the stock market? Like, that's the type of thing that you actually can get here. You just need to wait here. Here's a post from Credible Crypto, and this one was from September 1st. Remember back in the day, September 1st, when XRP was $2.76, and it was the end of the world. Remember that? Well, he said, All right, XRP folks, gonna need your help to manifest this one with me. He says also a Bitcoin reversal would also help, probably a lot more. And so Bitcoin has reversed a bit since then, but look at what he was highlighting here. Actually, it looked like it, so it had dipped as low recently, maybe right before this, like $2.72. He was calling for this, though, $3.12. He saw in the charts that it would make sense, and he's articulated his reasons, that it could get up there in short order. And though here's the recent post where it maps it out, and wouldn't you know it, that's about what he was expecting, isn't it? And we've run a bit higher than, but that's a key level that he was citing. And so he wrote here yesterday evening, 4:59 p.m. Central, he said, "Thank you for manifesting XRP, fam." Well, you are welcome, Credible Crypto. Here's a post from Crypto Wizard. This is an Ethereum USD chart. He says, "The run is coming. You need to be more bullish. Ethereum is gearing up for its major parabolic run. This chop will be blown away when it breaks above $5,000. We bought the bottom. Patience pays." Okay, I wanted to highlight this because historically, Ethereum, it does kick off alt season. That's one of the things we're watching for. This is another coin. It's an important one to watch, even if you don't hold it, because it's right there. It is right. In fact, it's slightly below, but let's take a look at the price. $4,728. Not far off, folks. Definitely not far off. And here's what Crypto Wizard had to say about XRP. He wrote, XRP closed slightly bullish, and this is yesterday evening, Friday evening, 8:07 p.m. Central. He says, however, XRP BTC's daily symmetrical triangle breakout is more significant. Well, I've been talking about that, although I'm not typically talking about it on the daily. I'm talking about it, how XRP bottomed out literally last year when we were told that it was just going to keep trending towards zero. That's what the idiot sticks in the Bitcoin community said. And I said, no, actually, markets find bottoms, and wouldn't you know it did. But it is not done ripping Bitcoin to shreds. It will continue to rip to the upside. And it's nice to see over the shorter time frame, this particular symmetrical triangle, which has been getting more and more narrow ever since XRP hit its XRP USD all-time high in July, $3.65. It's nice to see that it's breaking out. It is nice to see that. And so he wrote here, breakout of $3.65 will lead to a new rally to $4.60 to $4.70. And he's talking about in the short term, to be clear. He's not saying it has to peak there. He's talking about in the short term. Here's a post from Crypto Insight UK. And this is just from this morning. This is, a couple hours or so, a few hours ago, 1:55 a.m. Central. And he says, strong 3-day close for XRP. A close above our descending trend line. Minimum target, $3.60. So if that's right, then we're looking at getting very close to all-time high territory in the short term. And he says, bullish cross on the RSI. So he's talking about this right here. For those of you looking at the screen, you can see I'm moving my mouse. And then he says, the wave count here is still valid. The time is not to scale, though. It says, looking for some strong follow-through price action into the weekly close tomorrow. And it always is the case that the asset class moves in tandem. And yeah, it's true that XRP, the reason it's always been in the top 10 coins by market cap, it is because it has strong fundamentals. But when you get to the euphoric part of a market cycle, that's not why it's running. It's not fundamentals that cause it to run. Fundamentals are the reason it had the opportunity to run that strong, because it stayed up there and then you get more eyeballs on it and more money flows in. But really, it's just because people get really stupid with their money during the final stages of a bull market, and that's what I'm here for. I think that people are going to people. They're going to humans will keep acting like humans. There's going to be that stupid ass behavior, and I'm going to sell into it because I've been holding so long. That's the strategy. Then we got this also from Crypto Insight UK, and this is a fun one. He's talking about Doge and XRP. So Dogecoin, I must note, this is wild. 29.5 cents, Dogecoin, number 8 in market cap. It's up 13.48% over the last 24 hours. So it's the top performing coin in the top 10, Dogecoin is. And take a look at this. This is why you might find some interest in that, even if you don't hold it and you're an XRP holder. Well, here he wrote the following. Dogecoin and XRP often move at similar times. Some big green candles are coming. Folks, do you see everything I keep highlighting here? There are some coins that have rocketed more than others. So XRP's up. Happy to see it. Dogecoin outperforming right now. Great. Every coin gets a turn, man. Broadly speaking, that's true. So, yeah, big green candles coming. Absolutely. Look what just happened with Total 2 and Total 3. And so he says, Doge, 100% plus weekly candle incoming soon, I feel. And so, folks, it always feels impossible until one day it happens. And I've said the same thing about XRP too, and then it just goes. And either you have exposure when it happens or you don't. He says XRP to $4.20 plus for our first lower time frame target. Yes, please. I'll take 2. Here's a post from Dark Defender. He says, the power of the waves. Initial weekly resistance is being broken right now. And he posted this in the afternoon yesterday, 3:04 p.m. Central Time. Says, XRP targets $4.39. That's pretty close to what I keep seeing from analysts. A number of them anyway. He says, and the $5.85 Fibonacci levels. He believes it's coming. And then he cited a couple lower support levels, and he says as clear as it gets. Here's a post from chart analyst Greg Crypto, XRP USD on the screen here, and he says, oh, actually, I should first mention this is a Friday morning, 11:49 a.m. Central, just for reference. So XRP price was certainly a little bit lower. Says the retest of $3.07 near the 21 SMA is completed. We're currently observing a retest of the $3.07 level, which is crucial as it aligns with the 21 SMA, simple moving average. For a bullish signal, we need a clear close above $3.07 to confirm the breakout from the symmetrical triangle. Folks, I gotta ask you, have you noticed? You sure have noticed it in this video, right? Tons of analysts talking about being in breakout territory for the broader crypto market, but also for XRP. Isn't it interesting how they're coming to the same or similar conclusion? Tons of reputable chart analysts. Isn't that something? Because usually when that happens, whatever they think is most probable, it tends to happen. And not always. Sometimes the improbable happens, but they're not usually screaming almost exactly or exactly the same thing all in unison. So when you start to get closer to that, it always catches my attention. And then he says, this confirmation could set the stage for a potential upward movement, so keep an eye on this key level. Okay, well, happy to, and at least at the moment I'm recording this, we're safely above it. Happy to see it. Here's a post yesterday morning, 9:59 a.m. Central Time from chart analyst Ali Martinez, XRP. He says XRP breaks $3.05 and now targets $3.60. So yet another analyst that thinks that we're going to get closer to all-time high territory in the short term here. I don't mind seeing that one bit, and holy hell, we are almost at $3.18 as I'm wrapping things up here. But remember, now it is $3.18. Remember just a couple weeks ago was the end of the world that XRP got down to like $2.72? This is why I keep telling you, like, it just makes the most sense to just have exposure, understand, yeah, you don't like the volatility when it goes down, but you sure as hell like it when it goes up. And you're only going to get the up part if you endure the down part. And we know that this market is absolutely trending upwards, and it has been for over 16 years. So why be fearful ever when it comes to this? It just doesn't make logical sense. But I know people get afraid. I acknowledge that I don't. That's because I'm an XRP bot. Beep, boop, beep. No emotions. So look, I believe that my strong conviction is rightly placed. It has certainly served me well to this point, and I just think it's going to get better. We're close chronologically to the end of this market cycle, but that last 10%, like that's where the crazy euphoria actually happens. That is the next part. So we got to wait a little bit, whatever that ends up meaning, but I firmly believe it's coming. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo!